You open Netflix just to take a quick break. 5 minutes, you tell yourself. But 30 minutes later, you've scrolled through trailers, watched nothing, and now you feel guilty. Why? Because somewhere deep down, you've been trained to believe that resting is wasting, that every minute unproductive is proof you're falling behind someone you've never met. It's like standing still in an elevator, heart pounding, because you think you're late for your flight, even though the doors haven't opened yet. The body's still, but the mind's running laps. And that's the weirdest part. The guilt doesn't come from doing nothing. It comes from thinking you should be doing something. A low-grade panic masked as productivity. Ever notice how even relaxing has to be optimized now? Meditation apps, guided breathing, timed breaks. Rest turned into another to-do list. You're resting, but still performing. You tell yourself it's just how the world works. But then why, when you finally stop, does your brain light up like an alarm? Why does stillness feel like danger? So here's the question I can't shake. If doing nothing feels this wrong, what exactly have we been taught to fear? One, it's not that we hate rest. We actually crave it. The quiet morning, the slow coffee, the feeling of permission to stop. But when it finally arrives, we flinch. It's not that you're addicted to work. You're addicted to the feeling of moving forward, the dopamine drip of progress bars, unread emails cleared, boxes checked. We've been trained to associate motion with worth. If we're not accelerating, we must be falling. And in a culture obsessed with grind, stillness feels like failure in disguise. But that's the trick, isn't it? Stillness isn't the opposite of momentum. It's what allows direction. Without pause, every step blurs into noise, every effort loses shape. You can't steer if you never stop turning. You can't listen if the music never ends. The pause isn't a mistake. It's the structure that holds the song together. So maybe the problem isn't that rest is hard. Maybe it's that we've mistaken still for stuck. And that confusion is what keeps us running, even when there's nowhere left to go. Stillness isn't dangerous. It's data. It's feedback from the parts of you that only speak when the world finally shuts up. So what, you're saying doing nothing is good now? That I should just sit around and hope life works itself out? Not good, not bad, just necessary. Like silence between songs. If you remove it, the whole track collapses into noise. Understorm. But isn't that just a fancy excuse for laziness? For not trying hard enough? Laziness is when you escape action. Rest is when you prepare for it. You charge your phone every night, but call yourself weak for doing the same. Stillness isn't a vacation, it's maintenance. The space where your brain takes out its emotional trash. Without it, you're running on a system that never reboots. Okay, but what if I stop and lose my edge? What if I fall behind everyone else? You don't lose your edge by pausing. You dull it by never sharpening. Reflection is the whetstone. Movement without meaning just wears you down. There's a difference between momentum and direction. One is motion. The other is purpose. Rest is the pause that lets you remember which one you actually wanted. So no, doing nothing isn't rebellion. It's rhythm. You inhale so you can exhale again. You stop, not because you're weak, but because you want to keep going. The average American checks their phone 96 times a day. That's once every 10 minutes, even while eating, driving, or mid-conversation. We tell ourselves it's about staying connected, but really it's about never being left alone with our own thoughts. Silence has become the new awkward. Research shows that over 60% of people aged 25 to 40 admit to feeling guilty when they rest, not because of deadlines, but because of identity. If we're not busy, who are we? It's ironic. We created machines to save us time, and now we fill that saved time with more noise. Notifications became tiny hits of self-worth, a slot machine for validation. We've become allergic to stillness. A blank screen feels like failure. A quiet room feels like something's wrong. It's as if the modern mind can't stand a vacuum, so it fills it with digital static. Scroll, refresh, repeat. Movement without meaning. The tragedy isn't that we're distracted, it's that we call it connection. We keep mistaking stimulation for life, and confusion for progress. 6. And maybe that's why doing nothing feels impossible now. Because to stop scrolling means to start hearing again. And that's the one sound we've forgotten how to face. There's this designer named Stefan Sagmeister. At the peak of his career, when clients lined up and money flowed in, he did something unthinkable. He shut everything down. He closed his studio for an entire year. No projects, no meetings, no emails. Just stillness. A deliberate retreat from the noise he'd helped design. People thought he'd lost it. In a world obsessed with momentum, taking a full year off felt like career suicide. But he didn't vanish. He listened. And in that silence, ideas started to resurface. Playful, weird, deeply human. The kind of ideas that only arrive when the world stops shouting at you. When he came back, he didn't just return rested. He returned transformed. His next decade of work, from exhibitions to branding, came directly from that quiet year. He later said, "Taking time off is not a luxury. It's part of the job." A line that sounds radical only because we've forgotten that creativity needs recovery. Stillness didn't kill his drive. It fed it. The year he did nothing ended up becoming the foundation of everything remarkable that followed. So maybe doing nothing isn't an escape. Maybe it's the workshop of unseen work. The silence where your next chapter drafts itself. And no, this isn't a productivity hack. It's not about turning rest into another performance metric. You can't schedule your soul like a Google Calendar. This is about something quieter, more human. It's about giving yourself permission to exist, even when you're not producing. Somewhere along the way, we started to confuse value with visibility. If nobody sees you working, it feels like you're fading. But existence isn't a show. It's not meant to be broadcast. You don't need to earn rest. You don't have to justify breathing. The sun doesn't apologize for setting. It just does. Enter. And yet, we keep apologizing for slowing down, for logging off, for not keeping up, as if the only valid way to live is to constantly prove we're still relevant. The truth is, rest isn't rebellion. It's reclamation. A small act of taking your time back from a system that always wants more of it. So breathe. Don't try to make this moment useful. Let it be useless, beautiful, and entirely yours. The world doesn't need you to glow 24/7. It needs you to stay lit. Doing nothing doesn't make you irrelevant. It makes you human. You are not a disappearing progress bar. You're a living process. Somewhere, someone told you that your value depends on how much you produce, that your worth expires the moment you stop performing. That was never true. Your career, your timeline, your next big thing. They're seasons, not scoreboards. A tree doesn't bloom all year, but it doesn't panic when winter comes. Rest isn't regression. It's photosynthesis, the invisible work that keeps the roots alive. Without it, the next spring never happens. You are allowed to be offline. You are allowed to disappear for a while. Growth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it happens in the quiet, unseen. And maybe that's what we're really afraid of, not being left behind, but being forgotten. But the people who truly see you don't need proof you exist. The truth? You don't lose momentum when you rest. You gain direction. Because silence doesn't erase you. It sharpens your signal. So the next time that fear creeps in, that whisper saying, "You're falling behind," remember, you're not behind. You're just between chapters. You can't rest your way to enlightenment in 2 easy steps. There isn't a morning routine, a journal template, or a breathing app that can make stillness productive. Answers. So how do you even do nothing correctly then? You don't. That's the point. Stillness stops being still the moment you try to optimize it. Understore. We turned rest into a competition. Who can disconnect more, meditate longer, log off better? Even our recovery has metrics now. The irony? The harder you try to relax, the tenser you become. You can't achieve calm by chasing it. You only exhaust yourself in prettier ways. Doing nothing isn't a skill you master. It's a state you surrender to. Like floating. The more you fight the water, the faster you sink. And maybe that's what modern self-improvement got wrong. It sold us rest as another project, instead of reminding us it was our default setting. Stillness isn't something to win at. It's something to remember. You already knew how to rest, before the world convinced you to monetize every breath. So stop trying to do nothing right. Just stop trying. That's the closest thing to peace we'll ever get. First, set aside 10 minutes a day for deliberate nothing. No podcast, no scrolling, no background YouTube. Just let silence stretch until it stops feeling like a mistake. 2, it'll feel awkward at first, like waiting in line without your phone. But that discomfort is proof you're detoxing from overstimulation. You're relearning how to just be. Second, when guilt creeps in, remember this. Silence isn't empty. It's full of information. It's the space where your mind files everything you've ignored. You're not wasting time. You're allowing time to work on you. The same way muscles repair during rest, the mind rewires when undisturbed. Don't measure these moments. Don't try to feel instantly better. Stillness doesn't show results on a chart, but your future self will thank you for the clarity it leaves behind. You can start small, 10 minutes today, maybe 12 tomorrow. Think of it as brushing your mental teeth. Boring, unglamorous, but quietly essential. The goal isn't to stop the noise forever. It's to build the capacity to choose quiet whenever you need it. Underscore. And once you realize that, rest stops feeling like quitting. It starts feeling like coming home. So next time you're doing nothing, don't fight it. Don't reach for your phone. Don't open another tab pretending it's research. Just breathe. The world can wait. Seriously, it can. The emails, the updates, the unread messages, they'll still be there when you come back. But this quiet moment, it only exists once. You don't need to turn stillness into a side quest. You don't need to earn your rest by being efficient about it. Just let yourself stop. Unproductively, beautifully. Think of it like closing your laptop, not because the battery's low, but because you're done for today. There's a difference between running out and choosing to pause. And if someone asks what you're up to, just smile and say, busy doing nothing. Watch their face glitch for a second. Then maybe they'll start to get it too. Stillness isn't an interruption to life. It is life. Unfiltered, unperformed, unoptimized. Think. So, yeah, take that break. Let silence have its turn to speak. Because for once, maybe not doing anything is exactly what you need to do.